Thank you for joining us. This is Live with Miami's Community News, and our guest today is the Director of Solid Waste Management, Mike Fernandez. Thank you for being here, Mike.
Thank you for having me here. Great.
So, and people don't know really what the Solid Waste Management Department does. So, before we get on to a bunch of questions about what the county's looking for and as far as drivers, tell us about the department and what it does.
All right. So the department we pick up garbage twice a week. We deal with the recycling. We pick up the recycling once every 2 weeks. We service unincorporated Dade County and 10 municipalities now. We're up to 10 municipalities. So that's equivalent to about 350,000 households. We're the largest in the southeastern United States, as well as we manage all the landfills. And we do have a waste to energy facility out in Doral.
It's a huge organization, and we produce a lot of trash and garbage and rubbish, a lot. So 340 or so thousand homes, right?
Right.
And you pick up most of those twice a week?
Twice a week, as well as the bulky furniture that we also pick up, as well as the drop-off sites that we have. They're open 7 days a week for residents to drop off as much as they want.
And for better or for worse, I've used all those facilities. The green carts out front. And we know, folks, on the green carts, the handles are towards your house, all right? Don't dump paint in those, all right?
Please don't.
So twice a week for that,
Mhm.
every other week for recycling?
For recycling,
That's
so
the blue-
single
blue
stream
carts?
of blue carts, yes.
By the way, I actually started doing it after 20
Come on.
interviews,
Yeah.
right? I finally said, okay, all right, I know we can do cardboard in there. No pizza boxes, just cardboard, dry, all right? Don't jam them in there too hard. I was so proud to be able to remember to do it. Instead, the easy thing to do is throw it in the green one. But you know what? We should get to this other level of participating. Now, you talked about a trash to energy. Tell us about that.
So we have this waste to energy facility out in Doral. It's been there since the early 80s, 1982. And we process over 1 million tons of waste through that facility. The majority of the waste that we collect and we manage in the county system, we actually process it there, and we make electricity out of it.
A million?
A little over 1 million tons a year.
That's a lot of stuff.
So we like to say that with the 40 years that facility's been open, we've been able to avoid having to build more landfills. And reality is, we have a closed landfill across the street that was there was an operation for 30 years. So imagine that facility has avoided, and that's probably like a whole square mile, I think, right there. I think Doral would have been just one big landfill, to be honest with you.
Out of all the stuff that you recycle, what percentage of the stuff that goes into where it gets burnt? What percentage is left out of every 100 pounds or whatever?
So it's there's like a rule of thumb there that we process. So 90% of the waste gets reduced, and about 10% comes out like ash.
Right, so you burn it, and what happens? So you got a little fire going.
So okay. So yeah, sure. So we in our facility here, it's an older facility, so we have to actually prepare I like to say the feedstock, which is the garbage, and we chip it up into little pieces, and then we put in these boilers, and then inside these boilers you have these water tubes that run inside these boilers, and they heat up. So water actually heats up, and it heats up to steam. The steam goes up to a turbine generator, pushes the turbine, makes the generator roll basically, and the generator generates electricity, which powers the facility that's actually doing this whole process. And we actually sell electricity to the city of Homestead.
And the folks in Homestead, they are so proud to have their own
Yes.
facility. They are just tickled pink. It's
Yes.
it's like a big deal. We have our own power plant, and it's true for
Yes.
many years.
It's a great concept because I mean you're using renewable energy for you're getting another benefit out of the garbage that we think there's nothing else to it. So that's why we're throwing it away. We're actually doing something positive with it.
So quite frequently, I look down the street when the garbage guys are there, and I taunt my neighbors and putting out the green cans on different days, just having a good time. We look at each other. Is today really the day? No, it's a holiday. No. Anyway, so we see these big trucks and they come by, driven by one guy or gal, all right?
Right.
And they sit there and they have these arms that go and pick up the green things. They put it in, they shake it a little bit, and they put it back down.
Right.
One person.
One person.
Right.
Fully automated. That's what we call an automated side load truck.
And how many stops, more or less? Frank's going to kill me, but I just got to ask again. All right, more or less, how many stops might a driver make during their day?
So you're looking close to over 1,000, 1,100 stops maybe in one day.
That is amazing that they can do that. And these guys, they're pretty happy. I stopped one of them the other day to say hello. All right. And so we were just, chatted for a second. And a lot of those trucks are in pretty good shape for being driven so much. But I did see somewhere, I don't know if it was a story that was in community newspapers or I saw it ad on TV. One of these trucks, I think it was pink.
Yeah, we have actually we're very supportive of. Actually, I was an ambassador for the breast cancer making strides, and we really support breast cancer awareness, and especially some of our men and women, because it doesn't discriminate.
Yep.
It's not just a woman thing, and we really support that. And we have three pink trucks, three garbage automated side loaders, and then we also have one of the bulky trucks that picks up the furniture in pink as well. And then we just got a pink dump truck actually that's going to go to our landfill. Really beautiful equipment.
One of the things that happens when you have traditional women's colors, pink, when you have that in a male-dominated business, it makes us all become acutely aware that how much we really have in common. So you got these big, bulky guys, and then you have the women driving these trucks too, right?
Right.
And wait a second, and they're pink, right? So it really makes us think pink and think about where we are in today's society. A couple of years ago, I was taking pictures at an October event. It was a run, jog downtown, and I was there taking pictures. I cried the whole time. Because thousands and thousands of women were there and men. And I knew a guy that had breast cancer. And just to know how many people that impacts is really tremendous. So my congratulations to your team for making us a little bit more aware of what's really going on.
Yeah.
So and then I understand the county's looking for drivers for those big, beautiful trucks. First, let's talk about how much those trucks cost, right?
So I like to joke with the men and women and say, hey, you drive more expensive vehicles than your exotic cars that are out there. I mean, these trucks run for about 300. A garbage truck, for instance, like what you described, runs for about $300,000.
So if you want to drive a real truck, forget the F-150, F-250,
upgrade
upgrade to the big guy, right?
300, so $250,000. So it's they have a lot of responsibility on their hands, and so that's one of our costlier trucks, tractor trailers.
And what kind of fuel? How are they do?
Diesel, traditional diesel fuel. We are looking at electric now. So that's something we're pursuing, where we could use the waste to energy facility to power up these trucks.
And now you go put a little extension cord.
The garbage,
get your phone cable, put it right in.
Well, imagine your garbage is going to be fueling our trucks.
God, that's pretty
Isn't
wild.
that great?
All right, so you're looking for drivers for these things. Tell us about some of the qualifications for a driver.
So definitely you have to have the license, Class A or Class B license, a CDL license. And we're looking for at least 2 years experience driving heavy equipment, truck, dump truck, garbage truck, whatever. So that's basically all you need. But obviously the key there is that CDL license. You need to have that CDL license.
And they need to know how to back up.
Oh yeah, please. Yeah, we try not to back up, but there are instances that you will have to back up. But yeah, definitely you need to know how to back up.
My wife's screaming at me, you need to learn how to do it with a camera. Okay.
So always use your mirrors.
So I walk out of the house one day and I see her car. It's parked behind my truck. I just see it. It's clear as day. There it is. So I'm like, you need to use the camera.
Yeah, no.
Guess what I did?
Boom.
I ran right into it. $2,500.
Oh.
So I use the mirrors a lot.
Yeah, use the mirrors. The mirrors don't lie.
All right. So if somebody wants to apply for that job, typically what might their day look like?
Sure. So it's on the waste side, on collecting the garbage. It's a 4-day-a-week schedule of 10-hour days, basically. So traditionally it's a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So you get the weekends off. You get that midday off there too on Wednesdays. and you start off at 7 o'clock in the morning. You go, you check your truck. You always have to check your truck before you leave the yard.
And then checking it for what?
So you want to check for any mechanical issues, tires, fluids.
Like we see the pilots.
We call it a pre-trip. We call it. It's required by as a CDL holder, you're supposed to pre-trip your truck to make sure that there's nothing safety issues that may cause an accident later on. So you check your truck. Then you head out to your route, wherever your route is. It could be anywhere in the county, wherever we service. And then you start your route. You're by yourself. You go house to house picking up. And then when you finish your area, you come back in. Actually, you first have to go dump. So you go to either the landfill, waste energy facility, or a transfer facility. You empty your truck, and you head back to the yard, and you finish your day.
So, Mike, the drivers typically have the same route?
Yes, they typically have the same route. There are occasions that you may have to help another route, maybe because of a mechanical breakdown or anything like that. But in cases like that, you are compensated overtime to help out. So there is overtime opportunities in helping out.
So in the old days, before we realized that women can do a lot of things better than men, all right, we always thought of like if you were a woman truck driver that you had to look a certain way. That's not the case anymore, is it?
No, absolutely not. You don't have to look
because the trucks, they have enough power in itself, right? That you don't have to be strong to be able to do any of that stuff
at all,
or stronger, right?
At all.
So I'm still intrigued when I see those arms go down. They pick up the green carts and they put it in there. So this is an arm that they control.
Sure. There's actually a joystick inside the truck, and you actually maneuver that arm however you want it, in, out, up, down, open, close. You dump the can, and inside the truck there's this blade that pushes the garbage into the larger portion of the truck, so it continuously compacts it basically. But the beauty is you need to just you need to know how to drive, and the great thing of automation, you have a reduction in comp injuries, basically worker comp injuries. You don't have to get off the truck, and that's the whole purpose of shifting to an automated.
Versus the old days. Where the guy, they pull themselves up and hang on the back of the truck.
Numerous back injuries from doing that. Unfortunately, people put the wrong things inside the bag. So imagine when you go pick up a bag, you get poked in your hand, even though you may be wearing gloves. There could be needles, syringes, glass. So it definitely has reduced our worker comp cases.
So one of the things that you realize when they pick up the green can and they bang it, all right, to empty it, if people have jammed stuff in there, they have to bang it a couple times, which is expensive for everybody.
Yeah, and that happens a lot in recycling, on the recycling side. If people don't break down their boxes, their cardboard boxes, anything underneath it may get wedged in, and then the box won't allow nothing to come out, basically.
So since Amazon's taken over the world, I know there's contests that we wouldn't do that here about who can order the most boxes, all right? So the question is, with all these people getting all these boxes that 10 years ago really didn't exist,
right? Because
we would go get plastic bags at the store and we would go there. So there must be a gigantic market now for recycled cardboard.
Yeah, markets, everybody talks about the markets, and recycling markets have been impacted by China and all this stuff. And as a matter of fact, I think we're probably at a 10-year high in commodities on recycling, because there's such a demand for cardboard, for plastics. So right now the markets are actually really good for recyclables on commodities. And as a result, to do also whenever inflation's high and fuel prices are high, usually your commodities are high as well. Yes. Your return on your commodities. So,
but we certainly are living in interesting times. So back to the job opportunities that the Miami-Dade County has. So they can apply for waste. It's called a waste truck driver. They can go. Where can they find that application?
So you can either go to miamidade.gov and look on careers. You can look there. You can visit our website, the solid waste website. But I would recommend you visit the miamidade.gov and just look under careers. Build a profile. You have to open a profile for yourself, and then you can apply for the position.
So, and it has the salaries that the jobs.
Sure. Yeah. So
can we share that?
Yeah. So like the starting pay for a waste truck driver's starting pay $39,000. Uh, you know, and that includes. Then you have additional like pay supplements. We provide you uniforms. We give you boots.
A lot of holidays, a lot of sick
We got
time.
13
right?
I think it's 13 holidays now. 13 holidays that you get to get paid for. Bank. You can bank that time. Great retirement benefits, health insurance. So there's a lot of other perks along the way with that, on top of the salary, that are very beneficial.
And 4 days a week.
And 4 days a week. I mean, imagine you could plan out your weekend, do what you got to
When,
do.
when we think I don't know how long the shifting has been going on, but certainly in the last couple of years, how the traditional Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, certainly has changed so dramatically. And even just getting into the consciousness of our thinking to allow, yeah, that can do that. Right?
Yeah.
Fortunately, we started doing that years ago when people said, I don't want to work Fridays anymore. I said, listen, this is the job, right? If you could do it in 3.5 days, all right, great.
Right.
Just do it. And it said you could do it at night too, right? Just at the end of the time, just make sure it's done. And so there's lots of companies that are doing that, so we can find a better balance in our lives rather
Sure.
than going to work for a major company and 40 years later you get a watch and say thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. But you want that work-life balance basically, and I think it's a great job for someone that likes to be by themselves and just and has control over what they're doing, because really you're by yourself in the truck. You get to build these relationships in these neighborhoods with neighbors that your customers are picking up. And you really get to know their everyday lives of what's going on in the neighborhoods, because
Yes.
they'll come and talk to you. So it's a really great.
By the way, when I stopped to talk to the guy, right, I don't know how long he's been on the route, but I've been in that house for 30 years. It's the first time I ever stopped and thanked him for doing that. And so we should all thank the people that take care of us, all the time. So if somebody says, that's a great idea, I want to go to work for the county, and I don't have a problem being in whatever position it happens to be, but after 3, 4, 5 years, I might want to move on to some other places within the county. So how would that work for somebody?
So, there's the sky's the limit, to be honest with you. You could come in as a waste truck driver. We've had folks start as a labor worker, become a director or section head, manager, or assistant director. I mean, I'll use myself as an example. I started in the business about 25 years ago, and I worked in the private sector, like a waste management, and I also worked in the public sector, obviously here. And I started as a temporary person 25 years ago. And it's not like I got out of school saying, hey, I want to be a garbage man. I kind of got into it like by accident. So, they say, hey, you should try this out and see what you think. And 25 years just went like that, where I've been able to take opportunity of promotional promotional opportunities that were provided to me, that through the private sector and here at the county, where I ultimately have become the director of a department, the largest solid waste department in the southeastern United States, as well as the best one that I could think of. And so I say that, and I still have my Class B license to this day. I still have it in my pocket. And I can still drive a truck if I wanted to. But it just goes to show you that the sky's the limit. I mean, I just had a division director retire 35 years working here, and he started as a tractor trailer driver.
It's interesting because there was a fellow that I know, he became a fireman, and he turned right instead of left, and he wound up becoming a fireman. And then he wound up being the fire chief, and then he wound up being a city manager, and then he wound up being county commissioner, and then the county mayor, and now he's a congressman.
Yep.
Right? That's Carlos Jimenez, folks. And so these are great stories to hear that it's really, once you start getting the experience, a lot of doors open. Tell us about educational requirements for that position.
So, education requirements, it's really, we always require for the drivers, honestly, as an 8th grade education. It's really all on the license, having that CDL license, as well as those 2 years experience driving the truck. But the great thing and like how I encourage all my staff is, the great thing is the county does have a tuition reimbursement program, where we could help you go to school, get your education, get your diploma, get your high school, get college diploma. I just finished my MBA, and so the sky's the limit. You could continue on. We're going to help you get that education. But to drive a truck, really, all you need is your CDL license.
And as far as that continuing education, lots of people, when they become adults, whatever age that is, or whenever they feel, oh, I'll be the oldest one in class. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right. And I know plenty of adults. I know a woman who went and got her RN, then she got her master's, and now she's a nurse practitioner and having a blast, making a lot of money. All right. And she did that as an adult. Right. And so there's lots of people that are supportive of staff to do that.
Yep.
And if somebody was to apply and they were accepted, their main base of operations would be out of Doral.
So we have four locations throughout the county. We have one in Miami Gardens. We have the second one is in Doral. We have one right in the Kendall area, right off. You've probably been there, Sunset Kendall, right off 107th and near Kendall Drive. And then we have one down south on 248th Street next to the landfill. So, each segment, each location obviously has a purpose. So that area, those trucks from that station handle that general area. So like the Miami Gardens area handles the north, 58 or Doral area handles kind of the central part of Dade County. Remember, we pick up garbage from county line to pretty much county line. I mean, from one end of the county to the south end of the county. So the great thing is it gives options for somebody that wants to come work with us. If they want to work close to home, there's that opportunity to work close to home.
Well, speaking of close to home, I live near the FIU dump on 100 and whatever it is.
Snapper.
And so whenever on the turnpike, I'm thinking all the joy that these guys have cleaning out their houses, right? Go over there with their pickup trucks and then begging the guys to take their driver's license, please let me dump this stuff here.
Yeah.
But it's really good. These guys are really very professional. They handle it very well. And they're used to dealing with all sorts of irate people. And we see them, they de-escalate everything, make sure that it's calm. And let's talk about on the bulky waste pickup, right? How often can somebody put their stuff out in front of their house and have the county come pick it up?
So as part of your fee that you pay for waste services, you are entitled to two pickups that are included with that fee. Anything after the two pickups, you have to pay extra. So the opportunity, you could ask us to pick something else, but you're entitled to two pickups up to 50 yards. So when I say 50 yards, the truck that actually picks it up, that's two of those trucks filled up.
And these are big trucks.
These are big trucks.
And you have to work at getting it. All right.
Yeah.
The average guy is not going to do it. They put it out there. They can go online and they can fill out the form. And it's pretty easy. I used it once. And it's very easy. Right. And they tell you how much, if you have one left or you have two left.
Right.
And so between like October and February, you could get 100 yards picked up, folks.
Yeah. and remember also, you always have we have 13 of these drop-off sites open 7 days a week, 10 hours a day, that you could go as many times as you want. If you have a pickup truck or you have somebody that could help you bring the stuff over, bring it on. I mean, it's part of that fee as well.
And if people are getting work done at their homes and there's a lot of rubbish construction stuff, and they're concerned where the people are going to dump their stuff, what should they do?
They could bring it to our trash and recycling center as long as you're one of our customers.
Yes. And if they hire a vendor to do it and they want to make sure they're covered, should they get a receipt? Say, listen, my bill includes you hauling this way and not dumping it down the street.
Yeah, that'll be good. Yeah, because
as a matter of fact, I happened to read in the Cutler Bay News, the police arrested a contractor who dumped stuff out on the side of the road. He admitted to doing it.
Happens all the time.
And I'm so happy.
Happens all the time. You think, be wary that when you have such a real good price from a contractor to dispose of your debris, you may want a receipt or something showing the proof where they're dumping it at, because a lot of times they may just dump it down the street, and that's not good.
And in the case you forgot, there was some stuff that was dumped out on the street. The cops went through it. They found a receipt at the restaurant. They went to the restaurant. It was time stamped. They catch the guy. They go to the house.
Yep.
And the lady says, "Yeah, I paid my guy to go do it."
So and Michael, you mentioned you've just touched on a lot of different parts of this operation where there's also, since we're talking about careers, there's those opportunities that so we're just not primarily waste truck drivers. I mean, right there you talked about the crane operator that operates bulky waste that goes to pick up the furniture at your house. You have enforcement officers that go through this rubbish and look for evidence to see where this illegal dumping came from. You have attendants and roll-off drivers at those trash and recycling centers that you drop off, that take those big dumpsters, those big cans, and you see them hauling it away from those trash and recycling centers. So we have a whole slew of and not only on the operational side, even on the administrative, we have accountants, we have HR, we have procurement, we have a lot of administrative staff as well that helps support this operation on the back end.
So lots of opportunities for the county, and I've been seeing ads. I'm so delighted. And the county really has a touchy feeling to it. In the years past, it was not there, right? And we see the folks from Animal Services where they take care of these pets. They come in and really, Flora Beal and the staff over there really do a great job. Mm. And we can see the difference over the last 10 or 15 years where people are feeling better. And the ads have that really nice approach to it. So whoever's designing it and them, my hat's off to them. So we got a couple minutes left. And one of the things I want to do is for you to talk to some 18-year-old young man or woman that's looking down the road and said, you know, I was going to go to college, or I am in college. I haven't had the college experience because of COVID. And one day that they will, maybe, if they're lucky. But I want you to talk to them about their future here in Miami-Dade County.
Sure. So, you know, of the future in Miami-Dade County, you know, there's great opportunities within the Department of Solid Waste, even in the county. So you may want to come in and be start as a garbage truck driver, maybe make a career of that, maybe move up to supervisor. But if you're not satisfied with working in solid waste, you have numerous departments in the county that you could jump. Once you're in the county, it's easy to kind of apply internally with another county department like Animal Services, Parks. You could go maybe you want to drive a bus. So there's a lot of opportunity. I mean, there's over 25 departments in the county. You know, we're close to about 30,000 employees. So there's great opportunity throughout the county to move into, but you could start off here in solid waste.
And let's talk for a moment about your rise and how you wound up working for the county.
Yeah, sure. So like I mentioned earlier, you know, again, I got into the waste business by accident. It was a temporary personnel job, and you know, they called me up and they say, hey, you may want to take this you're interested. It's like, garbage. Try it out, see what you think. So I did. Fast forward, came over to the county and started off. I was actually the division director over the transportation system, basically the tractor trailers that haul this garbage to our waste to energy facility. I oversaw that operation. And then I had more opportunities where I had promotion. You know, I got promoted to assistant director and then deputy director and then ultimately director of the department. So 14 years, I was able to, in the county, 14 of the 25 years, I was able to move up in the county to ultimately direct of the department.
It's wonderful. There's a Grant Cardone, I'm sure you've heard of him. He's an author and real estate investor. So he says, say yes and then figure out how to do it. So folks, say yes and figure out how to do it. Mike Fernandez, the director of the Solid Waste Management Department, Miami-Dade County. Thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year to you.
Thank you.
And Andres, thank you for the show, folks. Be careful out there and have a great